Alright, so what we're gonna be reading today?
Toy time with Cristiano.
What we got going on today, Mom?
Today we are reading a story, When Otis Courted Mama. And we're also going to be talking about what it means to be a blended family.
Blended.
What's blended mean? Tell me.
That's a great question.
Mm.
We have a blended family because we don't have the traditional mom, dad, sister, brother. You have two mommies. You have two daddies. Okay, so that's what blended means.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, so
Daddy's first.
No.
Yay.
No, Mommy's gonna read. Mommy's gonna...
No. Oh, this little fox
Okay.
is me. And this
That's true.
And this is little big daddy is you. Which is
When Otis Courted Mama. Before Otis, Cardell had a mostly wonderful life. He had a perfectly good mama and a perfectly good daddy. Both his perfectly good mama and his perfectly good daddy adored him. And Cardell adored them too, with good reason.
Who's Cardell?
Cardell is the little
Oh,
fox.
I thought his name was Otis.
Let's get into the story.
Yes.
Cardell's perfectly good daddy made the most fantastic jalapeno flapjacks with just the right amount of saguaro syrup.
Ooh, saguaro.
He was the master at playing zig-the-zag across the hot, burning sand
No, I don't know.
without leaving a single paw print.
You okay?
Best of all, when his perfectly good daddy howled, the stars shimmered and the moon beamed.
Ooh.
Cardell felt love through and through.
Ooh.
The only problem was that Cardell's perfectly good daddy lived in a different part of the desert. Cardell had to share him with his perfectly nice stepmama, Lulu,
Ooh.
and his perfectly cute stepbrother, little Frankie.
Yeah.
But Cardell was mostly used to it. So this part basically is similar to you.
What?
Your blended family, your daddy has me and Christian you have to share him with, right? So that's what this is saying. Cardell's dad has a wife, and no, look, see, that's what a stepmama and stepbrother is. Yes, and this is a little baby stepbrother. He's not so much of a baby anymore,
The big
but
boy.
yes, it's the same situation where the daddy lives far, right? And the daddy has a different family,
Yeah.
and he has to share his daddy with Lulu and the little cute stepbrother, right? Besides, he only stayed there part of the time. The rest of the time, he lived on the other side of the desert, where he had his perfectly good mama all to himself. That's how it used to be with me and you, sir.
Until I came in the picture.
That's your name.
Cardell's mama was a champion scout. She knew how to hunt down pack rats and chuckwallas. Even the sneakiest rattlesnakes couldn't hide from her. Cardell's tummy was always full.
Yeah.
She was also a master artist. She painted the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets. Everyone agreed. Her paintings were something to see.
You have nice
Sorry.
paintings.
Yeah, she
That's
does.
right. I'm just
She's
like
a
a
good
mommy too.
painter.
I'm artist.
Best of all, when his perfectly good mama smiled, the moon, the stars, even the planets glowed. Cardell felt warm and safe. Yep, apart from a few sticker burrs and occasional sand fleas, Cardell's life was mostly wonderful. See Mommy and Cardell there?
This one's me.
Yeah, Mommy and Christian.
Mommy.
But all of that was before Otis,
Woo.
their
This one?
new neighbor, showed up at their door. Otis came by their den just as the sun was setting, holding a handful of ocotillo
Ocotillo flower.
in one paw and a bag full of cactus candies in the other.
This is
Cardell felt a grrr form in his throat, but Mama seemed delighted.
this one is one guarantee, and I was mad.
Yes, when you... He does have the same face that you had when you first saw
I was
Gavin.
looking at him like, who is this? Do I
He
know
was-
you? Mean mugging me like
Looking up at him.
Do I know you, homie?
Yes. Otis wasn't the first coyote to come courting Cardell's mama. First, there had been Cleburne, who was quite a dancer. He and Mama danced all over the mesa. But the more Cleburne danced, the more he slobbered.
That's why he's doing.
We can do without Cleburne, agreed Mama.
Oh, Lord.
Look at the slobber.
And he has,
He has
an
an umbrella to shield him from the slobber. Then there was Pierre, who played the accordion so sweetly that even the scorpion swooned. But talk about conceited.
Oh, Lord.
Cardell got tired of hearing Pierre talk about Pierre. Me too, said Mama. Finally, there was Professor Coot.
Oh, God.
He was quite distinguished, but he was the expert on everything. The flowers, the rocks, the planets, even the sticker birds and sand fleas. Professor Coot was constantly correcting Cardell. Enough! Cried Mama. But now, here was Otis.
Is this Daddy?
bad Otis.
Is this Daddy?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
this
him.
is you.
It
Daddy,
even looked like him.
Daddy, it looks like you that you have this, and then you're doing this. I'm going to give you flowers.
Okay.
Otis wasn't at all like Cleburne, Pierre, or Professor Coot, but he also wasn't like Cardell's perfectly good daddy. Otis couldn't make jalapeno flapjacks worth beans. When he played Zig the Zag, he left paw prints all over the hot burning sand, and his howl sounded like he had rocks in the back of his throat.
Walking back on the door.
That's how he sounds when he sings for real.
That's you.
Daddy, I mean, coyote.
Okay.
How about you try to sing?
I was home.
See, you hear the rock?
He has rocks in his. See rocks?
So you walk down the road and you see me. When you're walking down the road and you see TV. Yeah, that's me on Coyote.
Cardell expected his mama to say, "We can do without Otis." He waited and waited and waited, but adios Otis never came. So Cardell went on alert. His fur bristled. His ears lay back. His grrr got louder. He put Otis on notice.
Otis for notice.
Look at this.
A lesser coyote might have given up, but not Otis. He knew that Cardell was one tough little hombre. So first, he stirred up a batch of prickly pear pudding. Cardell took a bite. His taste buds hummed. Yum!
This is you making porridge for me.
That's true.
Ew, what he do?
It also turned out that Otis was a terrific pouncer. He pounced straight up into the air as if he had springs in his legs.
Yeah.
Then Then he came back down as fast as a shooting star. Cardell had to admit he was somewhat impressed. Nevertheless, Cardell kept expecting his mama to say, "Adios, Otis." But when those words went unspoken, Cardell's
Grr.
stayed put.
Mhm.
Look. Mm-mm.
Grr.
Look, Otis and mommy falling in love.
Mhm.
Oh, look at the three of them here.
So this is
Then one evening, Otis told Cardell and Mama the funniest stories. Stories about horned toads and chaparrals and little coyotes with big guns. Cardell couldn't help it. He howled with laughter. Those stories settled on Cardell's fur like a warm blanket. Even the moon seemed to smile. Before Otis left that night, he grabbed Cardell's paw and shook it. Coyote to coyote. Cardell's got softer and softer and softer until it disappeared altogether.
Oh, you mean?
A few moons later,
Oh, moons. It does moon.
Otis asked Mama to marry him.
Oh, Lord. So quick.
So you marry each other. Marry, kiss each other. Come on, kiss. That's your Mary. Now kiss. Now make a baby. Daddy, now make a baby.
Oh my God.
Baby.
On the book, please. We'll go to Walmart in the morning. Come, keep reading.
A few moons later, Otis asked Mama to marry him. Cardell and Otis waited and waited and waited. The sun rose, the sun set. The stars shimmered in the desert sky. Finally, all of the planets lined up just right. Then, look at Mommy
They
over here.
married.
Well,
Yes.
Yes, Mama said at last. She smiled the biggest smile Cardell had ever seen. He looked at Otis, whose grin was just as wide. Then Mama and Otis both looked at Cardell, and he smiled right along with them. After Otis, Cardell still had a perfectly good daddy and a perfectly good mama, a perfectly nice stepmama, and a perfectly cute stepbrother. But now Cardell also had someone else.
Otis.
Yes, that's now his stepdaddy. And life, sticker burrs, and sand fleas aside, it was mostly wonderful.
Can I have
The end. Anyone have any questions?
Me.
All right, Kaylin, you first.
How does she drive? Beautiful.
Because she has
she
talent.
has talent.
Okay.
That's it?
You have any questions?
Why is Cardell mad?
Cardell is mad because he's not used to any other men around his mama. He's used to having his mama all to himself. So he's jealous.
How does Otis jump so high?
Otis, would you like to let him know how you jump so high?
I eat my vegetables.
Yep.
Yes, I eat my greens.
If you like this video, please remember to like